Hello everybody! So part 3 of my floral cotton junk journal. Oh, it's nice to stroke. I'm very glad I used a nice cotton. So what am I going to do today? So I have only completed one page, and in the last video you saw I was just going through and sticking larger pieces of ephemera in. So I'm going to continue along that theme of working from larger pieces to smaller pieces. And hopefully the plan is by the end of this video to have most of the stuff that I've collected in the journal. If you are new to this channel and you haven't seen this journal before, do check out the previous 2 videos because it sort of explains how I got to where I am and what I'm talking about. So that the playlist will be linked down below if you have trouble finding it. I'm linking the playlist below so you can go and watch videos 1 and 2. And otherwise, let's get on with it and let's get started. So in the last video, you saw me sticking down most of the large pieces of ephemera that I had. And what I did at the end of yesterday is I isolated all the things that I definitely wanted to go in. So these were things that I'd painted or drawn during January, which I really wanted to get down in, like, as priority. That sketchbook page there being one of them, which came in really useful because I wanted to cover up that page entirely, so that was very useful. Yeah, things that were very, very specific to January. I had some pictures cut out of a magazine, like by other illustrators, but I'm quite happy to use those all year. They're not quite so specific to January, but obviously things like photos needed to go in, because I did feel quite overwhelmed with the amount of things that I wanted to get into the journal, to be honest. And actually in the end I got it all in, so it all worked out fine, but I do find I have to sort of prioritise to reduce the overwhelm. And it's funny looking back at this now, because some of the pages, I look at them now and I think they look lovely. And I know that by the end of this process, I think I overwork them, I put too much colour on, too many things on, and they end up looking quite, I don't know, murky, should we say. Like this page is a good example. I quite like with a lot of the white background showing. But I do come in on this page, and you'll see it at the end of the video, and sort of paint all in the background, and yeah, and this one as well actually. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter, and it's all a learning process, and just doing it is the fun part, really. So at this point I'm just working through a little stash of Japanese papers that I have, trying to get a piece on every page, and it is really interesting later on when I do start adding paint to see the different ways that the paint works on the different textures. Obviously some papers absorb the watercolour, some do it really, like some of the Japanese papers, when you put watercolour on it, it really sucks all the ink in, and it gets quite the colour gets a lot stronger, and then other ones it doesn't quite so much. And then of course you've got the extreme end of that, which is the magazine paper, which has a sort of a glossy sheen on it, and that doesn't obviously soak in so easily and sort of pools into the wrinkles. But it's actually interesting when you have like a variety of different textures on a page, different papers. It's very interesting to see how the paint works differently on each part. Yeah, you see, now I'm looking back at this now, having finished the journal, and thinking it looks, I think it looked a lot better with a lot of white space. Now, if you've seen a lot of my Christmas videos, you know that I'm not a fan of white space. Generally, if there's anything white in the background, I'll just come in and fill it in. But looking at it now, I'm thinking maybe I need to make much more of an effort not to come in with paint. See what you think. Let me know when you've watched to the end of the video. Let me know what you think. Do you prefer it at this stage with a lot of the white background showing through, or do you like it at the end when I've just kind of come in with a heavy-handed watercolour? Let me know what you think. I won't be offended either way, don't worry. just sticking in some stickers that I gave away as a sort of a welcome to my Patreon freebie at the beginning of the year. I was trying to sort of do like sunrises and seedlings. I don't know, just to give us all a bit of hope for 2021 that things will get better, even if they're only tiny little changes at the beginning of the year. If you're patient, sometimes they grow into big changes. So hopefully things will be a bit better for us all. So I drew like a sunshine peeping over the top of a hill, looking at a seedling. And that blue sticker says Reiwa, which is the Japanese year, Reiwa Sannen, which means like the third year of Reiwa. Japan has an alternative way of measuring the years. I mean, obviously they use 2020, 2021 as well, but they do have their own way of doing it as well. Hi folks, so okay, it's actually the next day. My camera ran out of battery when I was filming yesterday, and because I was really limited on time, I just sort of cracked on. And I basically got all the large and medium and even, I think, yes, I've done most of the small. I put most of the small pieces down as well. So I feel like I've got sort of a good variety on each page. I still have things like pockets that could be filled with things. So there's a pocket there. And this one, I've got something I want to put in the pocket there. I'm actually going to put some of our New Year cards in there. We get like New Year postcards in Japan, so I'm going to slip a few of those in there to keep them safe. Here there's a little, these are these like New Year envelopes. This is actually a vintage one, quite old one. But at New Year here, children particularly, I think it's just children, you get given money by members of your family, older members of your family, in these little envelopes. And so it's a New Year thing, it's a January thing, and you get them on January the 1st. So I just shoved that one in that pocket there. I don't think I explained it actually in this video, but these are sort of a to-do list system I had at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Everything I needed to get done, I was writing them on little post-it notes in my planner rather than writing them actually on the page, and it was really useful, and I quite like to keep it because it feels nice and it's a good record of what I did. And I've been sticking in pictures of all my videos I've been doing for Patreon, just like the screenshot, the thumbnail image, because I want to keep a record of all this hard work I'm doing. So yeah, I did that as a flap. So I'm thinking I've got a bit of space to write in between if I want to write, but I'm also thinking I'm probably going to do a bit of painting. Yeah, I feel like pages like this, for example, there's lots of like strong colours here, and then all this white in between. And I'm feeling like I want to sort of unify it a bit more with perhaps a greeny colour or something in the background, or maybe even a blue. I'm not sure. I quite like the way he's sticking it there. So yeah, there's another pocket here. This one's also a pocket. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was going to use it as a pocket, but I thought I'll just make it into a pocket for now, and then if I do need to put something in it, I can put something in there. But I may well just leave it like that, I'm not sure. I don't think I have actually that much more ephemera to put in. And I'm not a big journaler. I don't feel the need to write too much. I want to sort of annotate. So for example, this picture of my son falling asleep on the floor, I'd quite like to write somewhere, you know, why he was so tired and why he fell asleep on the floor. It's very unusual for him to fall asleep anywhere. So I took a photo. Another Patreon video there. So yeah, I mean, this page again, there's a lot of white on here, so perhaps it'd be nice to sort of colour in around around some of these doodles maybe. Not sure what to do about this page. This was like a page of doodles, some sort of like preparatory sketches for some things I was making. I wanted to keep it because it's nice. I love this ink, this Yoshitake ink. Oh, I've written it down, look, Pilot, Kiri-same. I thought it might make quite a nice background, but then I didn't want to stick anything on top of it, so not sure. But it's in there. Bit of origami I stuck down there. Oh, I wonder if I should stick him a bit better. It feels like he might come off. We'll see. Yeah, so that was January. So I've filled up two signatures, and it's chunked it out quite a lot, which is good because I was feeling like this was a bit thin and floppy, and I was wondering whether it was going to end up looking like a sort of a very sad and thin journal. But actually, if I can chunk out two signatures like that, and there's another 5 here, it's going to be definitely chunky by the end of it. So I've done 2 for January, and I'm thinking to myself, perhaps then 3 or 2.5 for February and 2.5 for March, because I want to finish this. I'd quite like to finish it by the end of March, and then perhaps start a new one in April, because April feels like sort of spring. I'd quite like to do something more sort of floral, and again floral probably, but like more like cheerful and springy and floral and bright colours and stuff. I'm feeling like a change of mood. And as you can see, a lot of the papers in here are quite wintry. I mean, March is definitely not winter in Japan. It's certainly getting on well into spring, I would say, but that'll probably be all right. I can cover that up if I get to it and I decide it's too wintry. So yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, this will be a January, February, March journal, and perhaps I will proceed sort of quarterly journals. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. So what do I have left? I have left in my ephemera pile this little ephemera booklet I made. This was a Patreon post item, and I made it for myself. And it's supposed to go inside a traveller's notebook. So I actually made this traveller's notebook the other week because I just wanted to. This is true vintage fabric. I don't know what this was originally. My mum sent me the scraps of it because I'm quite attached to it. It's something from my childhood. Perhaps my mum had a dress of it, or I had a dress. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask her, but I have lots of it, and well, not lots of it. I have a few scraps of it, and I was keeping it for something special. And I thought, well, a notebook's probably a nice thing to use it for, because you can keep it as long as you like and use it a lot. I wouldn't want to make clothes because then they get worn out quite easily, don't they? Yeah, so I still have loads left, but yeah. So I thought I'd make myself a little passport-sized traveller's notebook. And then the idea being that this would fit inside here. And when we do eventually go out and about, it can be like a little ephemera collecting thing. Because I can pop things, tickets and I don't know, whatever in here when we go out and about. So I'm probably not going to stick that in here because I want to use this. So I'll probably keep that to go in a traveller's notebook. And I have a few frames left. That I don't really have any teeny photos to go in them. But I'm thinking perhaps if I go through my photo album, I might find some that I hadn't considered printing for January. I could perhaps put those in. Or, you know, I could use them for February. It's not the end of the world. And then I have just some plain cards that I could put writing on. I could cut them up to put in the journal. And I printed off a load of these extra by mistake. So I have a load of these. So I'm not sure I can do these. Perhaps, I mean, if I was a proper journaler, they'd make really good like date stamps. You could put like the date in here, stick it at the top of the page, and then do proper journaling. So perhaps I'll keep them. And if I do have an urge to do any like proper journaling in here, I can. So I've got those ready as well. And the same with these. So these, they're printed out on sort of thin white card. These were actually my patron thank you cards this month. So I've got a spare one in case I made a mistake. So I suppose I could use that in there. But I thought these might be quite good if I do want to annotate a page, if I want to write something. Like I could even just pop that, you know, in the pocket and write what I want on there. Or I could stick it on the page if I wanted, if I got any space. Don't have any space. Like I could stick it on, you know, on the bottom here if I wanted to write something. So those I'm probably going to use. Yeah, and just a couple of other smaller ones with one of my doodles on. Like, I can write on there if I want to annotate. And that's pretty much all I have left. So I feel like I've done really well to kind of bang through all that ephemera and get it all down. So all that's left really to do is to paint the pages and to annotate, and then that's my January finished. And then I can get on with collecting ephemera for February, because I haven't got anything yet, which is quite understandable. It's only, what is it? It's the 3rd of February today. So I naturally don't actually have anything to put in yet, apart from probably some photos on my phone. Excuse me, drinking some tea. So I guess I'm just going to get on with it. Yes, and I'll film it, and I will probably film like a little bit of my process of like painting and things, and then I'll be back at the end to just give you perhaps a final flip through. So here we go with the paint, and yeah, do let me know if you think the paint was a little too much. Like, what, when you're doing your own junk journals, if you do them, do you prefer to leave white space, or do you prefer to paint into the background? What's your preferred way of working? I mean, I know a lot of people, they start off quite sensibly painting the background first and then putting things on top, but I don't necessarily do that, as you can tell. I suppose it's because I don't really know what I'm going to put on each page until I stick things down, so I don't really know what kind of colours are going to appear until I stick things down. And I did paint into that white gel pen drawing I did on the right, and I'm still not sure whether that was a good idea. I have this issue when I'm drawing and painting, because I film a lot of it for YouTube, that when you watch it back, you can see the whole process all over again, and you feel very differently about it the second time round. It's quite interesting. You have this thing when you're making things of like trying to decide when it's finished, and sometimes you know, right, okay, yeah, that's definitely finished, or no, that needs more of this, more of that. And normally, if you don't film what you're doing, by the end of it, you can be quite satisfied. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm finished now. But when you film things and you get a chance to watch them through a second time, sometimes it can leave you really doubting, you know, oh, maybe I should have left it at that point, because you can watch it through all the different stages, and that's exactly what's happening here. I'm looking at this and thinking, I kind of liked it before, Emily. I kind of liked it plain. But it's interesting. It's interesting to be able to see it from both viewpoints. I think this page is one of my favourites. I quite like the way I have the fox in the middle and like all the little bits all around the edges. And I do love this kind of green at the moment, sort of mossy green. This is definitely one of the pages I feel I should have left. I went in with a sort of a blueberry colour, and the idea being that I would then like doodle on top of it, but I'm actually not feeling too chipper today, not feeling too well, and I ended up sort of half-heartedly trying to paint on top, and it, I don't know, it just didn't work really. Yeah, that was a page I definitely should have left pale, I think. But never mind. And some of the sketchbook pages that I've stuck in, the ink actually runs, and it doesn't bother me at all. But you can see that green frame, the ink ran when I went over it with the watercolour. Every time I turn a page, I just look at the page and I just think, what colour would unify that page? So when I came to this page, just a quick sort of scan of the page, and I can see sort of beigey browns, but I can also see sort of purpley greys. So then I make the choice, which one of those am I going to bring into the background? And obviously I went for sort of a beigey brown. And I think this one does look quite nice. It was enhanced by the background watercolour. Yeah, this one, I think this one worked. On this page I did actually leave some white space. It's probably the only one I actually did leave white space. I felt like I might want to like write a bit more on that page, so that one had white space. This one, I'm still a bit mixed about. It's just so much fun putting the paint down, and I get sort of, just get carried away really, to be honest. It's just so fun to do it. And at the end of the day, I suppose that's all that really matters. I'm not doing these to be like works of art to hang on some rich person's wall. They're just, you know, for my own personal pleasure and use. And part of the pleasure is the actual creation of it, not just, you know, what they look like at the end. And I really do enjoy just flopping the paint down. So, so I guess, you know, I could call it a success, even if it is a bit of a murky mess at the end. I enjoyed it. You can see here I'm actually picking up a bit of paint from those little squares. They're actually gouache paint on the squares, and if I run my wet paintbrush across them, I actually pick up a bit of the paint. So that was quite an interesting effect. I just went for grey on this page to match the ink, and had fun sort of drawing in between all my doodles. So this is a good example of the different ways that paint lays on the page. On the left hand side was magazine paper, and on the right was quite a thick Japanese paper. So you can see on the left it sort of lies in the wrinkles, and on the right it soaks in really, really well. So those are my January pages completed and finished. So I'm just going to show you very slow flip through, just so you can get a view of what they all look like finished. I really enjoyed doing this. I've not done it this way before. Like I said, I've never actually done a non-Christmassy junk journal, so this is all a first for me. And I've come in and done a few like annotations. I wouldn't say journaling, just annotations, just describing what things are. Like I said, I don't really want to do tons of journaling. But I'm kind of pleased with the effect. Some of the pages I'm like, oh dear. Some of them I really, really like, and I think that's kind of a completely normal balance. And at the end of the day, I really enjoyed doing this. So if anybody else has any junk journals you want to share that you've completed for January, can you please leave them below, and then we can all come and have a look at them. I'd love to see all the different styles and what people are doing. And if you've had a go at doing your own, like putting your own drawings or paintings in, I'd love to see that. If you haven't tried that, I do recommend it. I mean, you don't have to be like a world-class artist. I'm not a very good painter myself. I can doodle adequately, I feel like, but paint is just something I've never really got the knack of. But at the end of the day, I just enjoy doing it. And you can paint and scribble all over any old piece of paper and tear that up and put that in your journal, and it just gives a really sort of personal feel to it. And you can make things your own. You can choose your own colours. You know, get yourself a paint palette and just start playing with colour and mixing things up. I use, as you can see down there, actually, I use pen test pages and paint test pages. You know, mixing up paints, trying all different things, loads of colour swatches and things, and I just think it all adds interest, and it's a really nice personal touch. So if you do have a go, I do encourage you to do, if you like junk journaling, let me know, and I would love to come over and if you film a video of it, I'd love to come over and watch. If you are on Instagram, if you share any pictures of your journals on Instagram, just pop your Instagram handle below, and I'd love to come and have a look and see what you do. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see other people who are, you know, making more personalized junk journals, and I'd really love to see it. So let me know what you think, and I hope everybody's well, and I hope you all have had a lovely January and have a brilliant February and the rest of the year, obviously. And I'll be back at some point to show you some February pages. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you like the video, you can always click like. Thank you very much. Bye.